Being spoiled is amazing. Too bad we're not.
Dude, we are spoiled. Just think of, just look how spoiled we are with technology. Technology alone. Yeah, let's move it.
How are we spoiled? Technology?
Well, yeah, we've always had whatever technology is around. I don't know about you, but what kind of consoles did you have when you were a kid? Did you have a Super Nintendo? Dreamcast?
I had Jaguar.
You had Jaguar?
Yeah.
I never heard of that.
It's a Atari.
Oh, okay.
Atari Jaguar.
Nice. What'd you play on that?
Some really obscure games, like fighting genre, like obscure genres, like just fighting games and stuff like that. Like a dinosaur fighting game where you were dinosaurs and you would fight.
Nice. Like Tekken?
Yeah. But it was like knockoffs and stuff like that from like the Sega, I think.
What else?
consoles.
Did you have a Game Boy?
I had Game Boy like Game Boys. I had a Sega.
Yeah, a Game Boy. Wait, what did you say?
A Game Boy like Game Boys.
What does that mean?
Like Game Boys,
Yeah. What?
like a handheld device,
Yeah.
but knockoff versions of those.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had one of those.
Mine was Sega, I think. I had a
Sega knockoff. That's what it's called.
No, I don't think it was Sega. It was like a Nokia, maybe. I don't know. Like a big black one. But I did have a Nintendo 64 for like a week or two. Played the shit out of that.
Yeah, we had a 64. It was great.
I had to give that back because I think me and my brother sold it so we got more video games for like the PlayStation or something.
Oh, okay.
We were like, fuck it, we don't need two consoles.
Wait, did the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation 1 exist simultaneously?
I don't know. I don't know why we sold it. I think we needed the money.
I can't remember.
But I don't know, my brother convinced, he was like, fuck it, let's sell it. But I played the shit out of Kirby Crystal Adventures or something.
I never got into the Kirby games.
I love Kirby. I always type Kirby in my texts. Like, you haven't seen that?
No.
Really?
Yeah. What does it look like?
You can type it in like calculators and shit. Oops.
Wait, what? That's Kirby?
Yeah, it's Kirby.
I don't get it. Oh, that's like his face and these are his hands?
Yeah.
Kirby. Wait, am I thinking of somebody different?
He's in Super Smash Brothers. He's the pink thing that sucks things and
I do remember that. Is he a Pokemon?
No, he's not a Pokemon.
Is it not a Pokemon?
It's not a Pokemon.
Oh, I was thinking of somebody different. Oh, yeah, I didn't play the Kirby games.
Fairy and Jigglypuff?
Yeah, but I was thinking of, I guess I don't know the name to it then. I'm just thinking of some random game. Anyway, what were the Kirby games? I thought he was a Pokemon.
He's not a Pokemon.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he's definitely not a Pokemon.
What is he then?
He's just, he's his own creation.
He's a Pokemon.
Ditto? You thought it was Ditto?
I think he's Pokemon. Kirby. Sounds Pokemonish.
This Ditto. Ditto's more like that.
Kirby. Definitely Pokemon.
Yeah, I can't even draw Ditto. How do you draw Ditto?
I don't know. I don't know who the fuck Ditto is. Anyway, get out of here. Get out of here. I don't care what your drawings.
I'm not a great artist.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna have to Google what is Kirby.
Yeah, you can't even Google it with your shitty phone.
Goddamn Chinese phone. We're gonna get a new phone this year. I got to. Keep procrastinating. That piece of crap's 3 years old now. Oh, no, 2 years old. 2 years old.
How good is it gonna be the new phone?
I don't know, man.
Spoiled by technology. It's gonna take pictures without you knowing it, and just like face recognition. It takes pictures when you want it to, but you don't even click it.
So this is the problem. I don't really use my phone for very much.
Uh-huh.
And so it's hard to justify buying a really nice phone living in China. Now, if I had a phone that actually could be used for things like Google and YouTube, if I was living in America, then yeah, I'd want a really nice phone. But really all I use it for is like WeChat and a notepad, and that's maybe GPS sometimes. Didi, which is a Chinese Uber.
Yeah.
That's it though. I pretty much never call people because I can't speak Chinese. And texting, the only person I text is my bank to get statements. Well, they sent me a text message with my bank balance.
So can you justify getting a new phone?
I don't think so.
Are you gonna buy it regardless?
Maybe I'll just get another cheap one. This was only $100. But it is slow as shit. I mean, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
That really is just $100 phone.
No, I thought you were gonna be like, we're spoiled in general.
Oh, we totally are though. We are. I mean, just look how fucking fat we are. All right.
We're not huge guys.
We're
gigantic.
We've never wanted for food. I would say rotund.
We're one geometric shape.
But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, we've never known hungriness. Hungriness.
Speak for yourself. I was
Retarded.
fixing my old house, and I was literally.
Oh, yeah.
I was stuck there for 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
All there was
Oh.
frozen fries in the fridge.
All you had was French fries. Poor baby. Oh.
Nothing worked.
Oh.
And I was there for 2 days. I was starving.
No.
I had to
I feel so bad for you.
burn it with matches.
Oh my god,
and
you had to
eat
be
it.
creative?
Oh, fuck you.
Poor baby.
I was starving.
Yeah, I bet you know what that word means. Hey, man.
We're not spoiled.
For the simple fact that you could say, I'm
We have a lot.
starving.
We have a lot of work to do.
Get the fuck out of my face.
Some people don't have work to do.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Dude, everybody is working.
Not everybody.
Except the people who are not working. And
Exactly.
they're paying a serious price for it. Unless they just don't give a fuck. But hey, man. You want this shit, you gotta give a fuck. You want that iPhone? We're recording this on your iPhone right now.
Yeah, it doesn't come free. You have to work hard for it.
Exactly.
That's why we're not spoiled.
What I'm saying is, we're spoiled because we work hard and get an iPhone. Most people just work hard and get nothing.
That's just gratification.
A huge percentage of people work hard and then still starve to death.
Yeah, those are some bad cases, though.
No, for the majority of human evolution, that was the majority of the people. You mean you either died from malaria or from exposure to the elements, like you freeze to death, for example,
Yeah.
or you starve.
That was in the past, though.
The vast majority of human existence, like all the way up to 200 years ago.
Yeah. There's more variables than that, but...
They say that malaria has killed half of the people who have ever lived in the history of the human race. Half of the people who have ever died from malaria.
That's pretty bad.
That's shocking. So yeah, hopefully Bill Gates fixes that shit.
And how do you get malaria? Just being like having a common cold?
It's blood to blood exposure, and it's spread by mosquitoes.
Oh. I've heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Is there any cure or anything?
Yeah, there's medicine for it, but it's expensive. It's hard to make, or whatever. For whatever reason, we just can't make enough of it. And besides, that's just a symptom. Like if you decide we're just going to start making cures, then you're going to spend all of time making cures. It's better to go after the problem at the source. Actually stop malaria. Or I would prefer just eradicate mosquitoes. They would just make mosquitoes extinct. I don't give a shit about the food chain. There are some things that we can just lose. Mosquitoes and rats, I think we can lose those two animals.
Just create these falcon birds.
Dude, I don't know what you would create. I don't think there's anything.
Birds?
No. So, dragonflies and bats eat the most insects. Like in relation to their body weight. Bats shit on everything. And so my plan would be, and every nation would have to do this, create some kind of incentive package where a citizen can message the government and say, hey, I want to take part in this program. The government sends them everything they need, like a do-it-yourself little dragonfly house, like breeding nest. You set it up like on your porch or in your backyard or fucking wherever, by your mailbox, doesn't matter. Outside somewhere. And the government will give you what you need to, have a brood of dragonflies. However, they have been genetically modified so that they can't reproduce. And when you somehow prove that you've set it up successfully, the government just straight up cuts you a check.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a thing that's supposed to be set up in 2 hours. The government just goes, here you go, here's $200. Bam. And they do that every season, once every summer. And so you just increase the dragonfly increase the dragonfly population by like 10,000% for like 2 months every summer. And wipe out all of the mosquitoes and a lot of other insects as well.
Good idea.
And
Sounds plausible.
At the end of the season, all the dragonflies die. They're eaten by birds and shit. And then dragonfly populations go back to normal. Theoretically.
You look comfortable.
I look comfortable?
Yeah.
I am.
Spoiled brat.
You're the one laying on the ground. That would be my plan. Because fuck mosquitoes. And rats, how do you solve the rat problem, huh?
Snakes.
Rats, okay, you just don't understand, man. We're talking about rats the size of a cat. And we're talking about millions of them. We're talking about
that exists?
We're talking about like New York City rats. All of the whole underneath of New York City, the whole city is infested with rats. There are more rats than people. And there's no way they can even get accurate numbers. There's probably way more rats than people. How do you fix that problem? You can send anything into that sewer. And if it's smaller than like a wolf, it's going to be eaten by the rats.
Jeez. Yeah,
because you know how I know that? If you read All Quiet on the Western Front, and other World War I stuff, they often talk about how bad the rats were in the trenches, and the first solution they tried was bringing in cats and dogs.
Yeah.
The rats just ate them. We're talking about big cats, like cats that have been bred to hunt mice and rats, and we're talking about dogs, like terriers and shit, bred to kill rats. Nope. The rats just eat them.
That's crazy.
Millions of rats.
They're really that big?
Yeah, well, I mean, not all of them, but they can be that big. You can get gigantic rats. Even a small rat, though, will chew through just about anything. Will fit through tiny spaces. Will survive fucking everything. And they'll just eat each other.
Rat poisoning wouldn't work.
Yeah, because you'd poison the city.
Yeah.
Even if you could introduce a predator that's so bad that it drives the rats away, then you're just driving the rats up into the places where people live.
Yeah.
So instead of millions of rats living under the city, you have millions of rats in the city in people's homes and shit.
Just concrete slab all the sewers and just have some other way.
There's just no good solution. It's crazy. We're gonna need like nanobots or something like that, or we're gonna need to like genetically engineer rat death, genetically engineer some kind of like thing where when the rats reproduce, their offspring die or something like that, or they become infertile. Something. We're gonna have to science the shit out of it. I heard that coyotes eat a lot of rats, and that's the only reason we're not infested with rats, like in the countryside. Because the coyotes and foxes are out there slaughtering rats every night. Because, like, when you're in the forest, there's nowhere for the rat to go, pretty much. The fox is going to get it. Unless it can go into a tiny hole, and the fox can probably dig them out. You're in the city, the rat can go anywhere, and the fox can't follow.
Snakes.
But even the snakes, they can only go some places, and they're small and weak. I mean, you're going to have to release, like, gigantic pythons into the sewer system.
Yeah.
And even them, they just can't eat enough rats. Snakes are cold-blooded. They eat, like, what, once a week?
Yeah.
We need these things killing 1,000 rats a day.
And you have to fight off the snakes.
What we need is to genetically engineer super mice to go after the rats. And we'll give them armor and little medieval weapons like swords and shields. And we'll march legions of these super mice into the rat colonies.
Chainmail.
Yeah. Chainmail, maces,
mice.
spears.
The chainmail mice.
Exactly. That's clearly the only solution. I don't know, man. Maybe like ants. I don't know. Maybe you introduce like army ants, like fucking Siafu, African army ants, into the sewer. I still think the rats will just eat them. I mean, I still think they do. And it's all concrete. That's like the opposite of what the ants want.
Yeah.
Again, though, what are you going to release? Millions of snakes into the sewer system? Just fill the city with snakes?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, and what kind of snakes? Are they poisonous snakes?
No.
They would have to be water snakes because you're in a sewer system. Most water snakes are poisonous. Actually, I think all of them are poisonous.
All water snakes?
Yeah. You want poisonous snakes in the city? That's probably a bad idea. But if it's not a poisonous snake, what is he gonna be? How is he gonna kill a rat?
Yeah.
That rat's gonna be fucking ferocious.
Yeah. Somehow, some smoke?
Scorpions.
Scorpions?
Millions of scorpions. Or giant rat-eating spiders. Oh, they get those spiders that eat birds.
Spiders that eat birds?
Release 5 million of those into the sewers. We should just turn New York into an experiment, an ecological experiment. What can we introduce to kill these rats? Let's try one thing after another.
Some superhero named Ratman should just come and Peter Piper and that shit.
Dude, we need guys down there with flamethrowers, like straight up World War I kind of shit. We need to launch a war against these things.
As a kid, I always wanted to be Peter Piper and have, like, rat friends. Isn't that weird?
Super weird. Dude, you want to hear imagination? There used to be, or there still is, I used to get dropped off from my school bus on a cul-de-sac. We used to live on a cul-de-sac in New Jersey. And I would get off the bus, like, let's say I'm looking up my driveway.
Mm-hmm.
To my right, the cul-de-sac would drop down into, like, we were in a forest on a big hill. So the cul-de-sac is actually, like, kind of a artificial plain.
Yeah.
That's been made as a part of the hill. So on your right, the hill just continues downward at a pretty sharp angle. And on your left, it goes upward. But right at the cul-de-sac was a gigantic outcropping of rock.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, as a child, it's really exciting climbing this. As an adult, you can get up it in, like, 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You know? It's not that challenging.
Yeah.
It's challenging enough that you definitely don't want to fall off. You're definitely going to get fucked up if you fall off.
Really?
But it's not that bad. So it's easy to climb up. I used to get off the bus and run up this thing every single day and then get to the top. And then I would orchestrate like this fantasy battle in my head because the whole rock was all mossy. It was covered in moss.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could see across the cul-de-sac and you could see over the hill and you could see like down the hill in all directions. This dense forest, all these pine trees and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Not pine trees, ash, I think. The one with like the peel, the bark that peels.
Mm.
Or what is that? It's not ash. It's,
Moss?
No, the tree with the thin bark that peels off. Anyway.
Okay.
So it was mostly those trees. So when they would drop their leaves, all of the ground would be covered in leaves. And so I'd have this fantasy battle in my head where the moss was one army and the leaves were another army.
Mm.
And since the moss, you know what the moss looks like up close, right? It's like all these little cilia, all these little pieces of green, like, plant life
I guess, yeah.
up close. I imagine that each one of those was like a super elite soldier. All right? And the leaves were all, like, really big, dumb, like, cannon fodder type soldiers.
Jeez.
And then they would, like, charge the mountain and try to get up the mountain fighting these elite moss troops that are, like, 1/10 the size. 1/100th the size.
Anybody win?
Nah. I would sit up there for an hour or two and lose my train of thought and then go home.
That's crazy. I always imagined as a kid that people lived on the sun.
What kind of people?
I don't know.
Well,
They were normal people until I learned that it was super hot up there. I was like,
That changed the whole dynamic.
yeah, I was like, oh, there's like Timmy and Bobby up there, it's like regular people like us, and then go into science class. So we're going to talk about the sun today.
6 million degrees, you would die.
Nothing could
instantly.
survive, and then just in my imagination, just I
Everyone
heard.
dies. Oh, no.
Have you heard of that? Hearing your own imagination.
Yeah.
I think that's dangerous, having a huge imagination.
I've always had pretty wild imagination. I've always had pretty wild dreams.
Yeah.
I had a dream once where I was running along this cliff on like a coast. So imagine sand with trees, and there's like 100-foot drop to my right, and then like a little beach, like shallow water, right at the bottom. And I'm running along the edge of this cliff, and I'm like zigzagging close to the cliff and then back into the forest, and then close to the cliff and then back into the forest. Okay. And every time I take a zigzag, I like look over my shoulder, and somebody else is coming right around the other zigzag as I'm zigzagging. You know, so I'm just barely seeing them come around the corner as I go around another corner.
Yeah.
And we keep going like this, doot 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 doot. And then, shit, I think I'm remembering this wrong. I think I was chasing them. Okay, so I'm chasing them, and I see them just as they're going around the zigzag in front of me.
Yeah.
And then one of the times where I'm zigzagging toward the cliff, I get to the edge, and I look around, and instead of them running away, like I kept seeing over and over, they're coming toward me. So then I turn around, and I start running away from them, and then when I get to the zigzag and look back, they get to the zigzag and get hit by a tiger. The flying tiger comes out of nowhere and hits them, and the tiger and the person that I was chasing go over the cliff.
Oh my god.
And then I woke up.
I had a secret spot where I would go and imagine things. It would be down the creek, and it would be under a bridge, past the bridge, down like the creek. Like my current house has like these little small river little what do you call it?
Little stream.
Ponds and streams, and until it gets to like the opening of a sewer, but it's like gated, but it's like it almost looks like a smaller Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
And you would climb up there,
Yeah.
and just chill there.
Cool.
First time I went there, I saw this African bumblebee. This
one of
big,
those gigantic
yeah,
ones?
they're huge.
Yeah, yeah.
I was terrified, but that's where I would go chill and like imagine things.
Nice.
Have you ever had a place to go to imagine?
Well, especially
On the shitter.
Oh yeah, of course. Especially when I was a little kid, I had terrible insomnia, and I used to hate my insomnia because I used to sit there for hours and hours and lay there staring at the ceiling basically, and then I started like just imagining stories and whatnot, and then I came to love that time, and I got to the point where I would go to sleep early, just so I have extra time to lay in bed and think of stuff.
I was the opposite. I was scared of the dark.
I love the dark. I can't sleep if there's any light. It can't be dark enough.
Now I love the dark.
Like if there's light coming from underneath the door, I gotta go outside and turn the light off. If I can't turn the light off, I'll put something on, I'll block the light with like a towel or something.
You're scared of the light.
Dude, I like the darkness. It's soothing. But you reminded me when you said that giant bumblebee. I saw a giant Japanese hornet, one of the giant wasps, seriously the size of my thumb, probably like 2.5 inches from
They're
from
huge.
face to ass.
Yeah.
Saw that in the stairwell of my apartment one day. I came out of my apartment. I walked down one flight, went to turn right to go around, and I look up, and it's like 4 feet away from my face.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sitting on the wall, and there's glass to it's glass next to it, and there's a ceiling above it. Like there's nowhere that it can go.
Yeah.
It's like cornered, and yeah, I can see it's like agitated, it's like flicking its wings and stuff. It's like moving left and right. It's like trying to get away. I'm like, oh fuck! I turn and I run down the stairs. I nearly break my fucking ankle getting away from this thing. Man, I freaked out. That thing was so gigantic. It was so big. It looked like if I tried to grab it with my hand, it would be a struggle to crush it.
Yeah.
It
It
was-
totally would. It would sting you so many times.
Oh my god, dude! Its stinger is like, it's like this pencil.
Yeah. It's huge. I accidentally said it was a bumblebee, but it's a hornet.
Yeah.
Type of hornet.
They bite and sting.
Oh my. And they can sting as much as they want.
They're fucking. The thing was outrageous. That thing would kill a bird.
Probably.
Small bird, no problem.
Imagine grabbing it. Oh my god, that would hurt your hand so bad.
You get fucked up. I bet you I bet like a dozen stings would kill you. I don't know. They're probably pumping you with so much poison.
It would just pump one just constant stream of poison into you and just be narcoleptic.
Ugh.
Man.
Well, all right. Well, have you seen the YouTube video where the Japanese hornets kill the honeybees?
Yeah.
It's like 30 hornets against 30,000 honeybees,
Yeah.
and the hornets win easily.
Yeah.
It's not even a fight though.
It's not.
But
They're like immortals.
No, I looked for an update on that. I got curious and I looked it up. The honeybees developed a way to fight back. All right, this is how fucking crazy nature is. You know what the honeybees do?
What they do?
The honeybees apparently somehow just know. Like, this is how crazy nature is. How do they fucking know this? The honeybees have a higher resistance. They have a higher maximum temperature that they can survive under.
Uh-huh.
And so what the honeybees do is they all jump on a hornet. So there's like 30 honeybees all
And they
over the
heat it
hornet.
up?
And they vibrate their bodies to generate heat, and the hornet gets roasted to death.
Whoa.
How the fuck did they start doing that?
I have no idea. That's crazy.
That's a...
They would heat up that much?
Yeah. And all the bees fly away and the hornet's dead. And the hornets are so low in number, it doesn't matter. The bees can send 1,000 bees to go do this job and kill a whole nest of hornets. I mean, how did they figure that out? How?
I don't know. You got me thinking, why is there those kinds of things in a place like where we live?
yeah.
Who are those people that just bring random things into the ecosystem thinking it would like damage the ecosystem?
Hey man, it is what it is. Okay, that shit's been happening. Introduction of outside species happens naturally. It's been happening for millions of years. Yeah, humans speed it up. You know, we basically have imported rats and ants from all over the world to all sorts of places.
The cypress tree.
But at the end of the day, fuck it. That's how I feel. At the end of the day, animals are going to compete with each other, and there's not that much we can do about it. It's just not. I think the most tragic thing is rats. Rats are everywhere. Literally every single island in the world is infested with rats. You can go out to an island in the middle of the ocean. It's filled with rats.
I guess that's what I would eat if I was stuck on an island.
But they were brought there by people.
Yeah,
You know,
from boats.
a boat landed there 100 years ago, dropped a case on the sand,
Yeah.
and some rats got out and they started eating the shit on the island and fucking.
Yeah.
500 years later, there's 10,000 rats on the island. Nothing else. Yeah, fuck rats.
I had a topic to talk about, but that popped up in my mind, but I'm not gonna say it. It's too stupid. It's too ridiculous.
Yes, it's sometimes good to curate thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, what would you rather?
Be an animal or human?
No,
Human,
no.
hands down.
Would you rather fight
Yeah.
a bunch of rats or a bunch of hornets?
Bunch of rats or hornets?
Yeah. I don't know how many of either, but enough to be potentially lethal if you lose the fight or if the fight goes badly.
Rats. I
You'd
would
rather fight rats?
Yeah. Are you gonna send me into the sewers now?
First
Well, I
man-
guess you chose your job.
First man down. What weapon would you take against rats? Shovel or something like that.
You know the old school.
Scythe.
Yeah.
yeah. You
Just
put
scythe.
you put your hands in that position. I was like, fuck yeah, scythe. I don't know. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of scything room in the sewers.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe like a machine gun, pellet gun. You need a flamethrower. That's what you need.
I know, but I was gonna say flamethrower, but then you were gonna be all realistic and be like, "Oh, you're gonna run out of fuel."
Well, that's definitely true. This isn't a single engagement. Like, you're not just going on a single rampage and taking out all the rats. This is a campaign. There's a documentary called Rat. You should look at it on YouTube. It's a group of people in New York who all have ratting dogs, like terriers.
Yeah.
And they go out at night and they hunt rats
Really?
with their dogs, like in a pack.
Nice. Has the dog ever died?
No. Because it's like 10 dogs at once, and they're hunting like just a couple of rats. They're not going into the sewers.
Okay.
But even if every single if every single person in New York did that, if we imported 5 million terriers, it wouldn't make a difference. There are more rats being born than the dogs can possibly kill.
The kind of determination should just stay in like finding a cure for malaria.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just
Not hanging out with your dog killing rats every night.
killing endless rats that won't make a difference in the number.
Exactly. What we should do is find out a way to give the rats malaria.
Biological warfare.
Malaria that can't transfer to humans or something like that.
Yeah, isn't there any like
Dude, you'd think that there would be.
specific viruses?
You'd think there are some. But there's always a fear that they'll transfer to humans. Hey, you know the game The Last of Us?
Yeah.
That's based on a real parasite that exists in insects. And the parasite is extremely specific. In fact, there's like hundreds of variants of the parasite because each variant only attacks one specific species of insect. And there's even different variants within species. Like there's different variants that attack different variants of ants.
Yeah.
But it's a fungus that goes in and pollutes the brain of the insect, makes them go insane, makes them climb to the top of they climb to the highest area they can get to. They cling to a branch or something like that. A giant mushroom grows out of their head and then explodes, sending spores in all directions.
That's insane.
Yeah. And they sort of loosely based the infection in The Last of Us on that infection. Like, what if it mutated and transferred to being humans? Yeah.
Okay.
Then we would be in serious trouble because that is something that can happen. It's unlikely, but it can happen.
Right. The whole theory of parasites and shit.
And mutation of
Genetics.
germs and such, fungi. But that's bullshit, right? That's crazy bullshit. Anything that army ants are afraid of is some pretty fucked up shit. Did you know army ants kill elephants?
Really?
They march up their leg and eat their brain through their ear.
Holy shit.
How horrible is that? And they don't, imagine being like weren't we watching it Planet Earth the other day, and those ants were killing the crabs? They were spraying acid in their mouth and their eyes.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking, how hardcore is nature?
And then
Jesus Christ!
You guys made fun of me that
spraying acid into its mouth and eyes. And it's a crab. It can't like cover its face. it can't like wipe its eyes.
Yeah, you guys made fun of me when somebody threw a little piece of paper in my ear and I hit my head on the concrete wall because I was sitting next to it.
When did that happen?
In English class.
Did you try to move and dodge the piece of paper?
No,
Dude, that has nothing to do with what
it
we're
fell in
talking
my
about.
ear and I flinched because that shit happens.
Yeah, you're right. It's exactly like this.
Elephants getting eaten from the ear.
Oh, okay. It was ear related.
Yeah.
That's where that came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man. I don't know. Maybe you're an elephant.
I don't want to be an elephant now.
You should probably base all your decisions on Elephant Society. Anyway, man, fuck ants. But I'd rather have ants than rats. There's something more... Even though ants are probably way less manageable than rats.
Ants are like rats, though.
But they're not. There's something about them that's not as bad.
They only live in the dirt.
I think it's just because they're smaller and weaker. Like, a single ant can only do so much damage. A rat can get on top of you while you're sleeping and bite one of your eyes out.
I would have one of those trophies of the ant colonies, just pouring silver down one of their colonies.
Oh, the iron, aluminum.
Aluminum?
Yeah. Liquid aluminum. Yeah, that is cool. I like those.
That is pretty cool.
It's a great idea.
These are these fucking ants. They kill elephants.
That's what we need to do. Fill the New York solar system with aluminum.
Yeah, or something that just dissolves over time.
Dude, I don't know what we would do. What you'd do. Maybe you could do it like with an environmental thing. Like, it would take a concerted effort of the entire city. It would take the entire force of New York and the government. You'd have to shut down the city. You'd have to plug every entrance and exit of the sewer. And then, I don't know what
and
you
just
do.
Smoke it out.
Gas them or something? Yeah, maybe fill it with CO2 or something like that and just make them all asphyxiate.
Yeah.
But they'd find a way out. There would be some way that we don't know about.
They could probably breathe.
Yeah, they could just breathe in. Pump arsenic in there. They're like, we love this shit. They get bigger and stronger.
Ninja Turtles coming out of the sewers.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you guys doing?
But they got guns and shit, and they're wearing balaclavas. Rat people.
This has been a crazy podcast.
Yeah, man. We haven't solved any problems.
We haven't figured out a cure for these rats.
We need to Google what Kirby is, because I'm pretty sure it's a Pokemon.
All right, we'll Google what Kirby is.
All right. Thank you for listening, everybody. It's been another podcast. Like, share, subscribe, comment, or don't. Do whatever you like. I'm Brian.
And I'm Arman.
Bye-bye.
Take care.